Ah? Who no end Who no end Who go free the tongue and go full no. Now whole tongue. How many pirate? A young go to you. Madam, a young go to you. Ah? Nese wo num say ade no atogo atogo ai farm hono ana wo be se akoko akoto ma ni bare madam unni ni panwadempa aboa na ewu wo farm hono ni akoto agu no wa be fa ekofo ama ni bare akoto ma ni bare ye fro say abiba also yes sadu ya japa obi na monitor wa unime ndi ase omamba pa ade na enye na ya to agu no wo be sesa ekofo akoton ma ni pare sa mami ya chew wo no ende wo ngo furu ne ton engo furu no na wo ton ama ni pare na eya ngo mutugu madam eya ngo mutugu ah nese wo num say ade no atogo atogo ai farm hono ana wo be se akoko akoton ma ni pare madam unni ni panwadempa aboa na ewu wo farm hono ni akoto agu no wa be fa ekofo ama ni pare akoton ma ni pare ye fro say abiba also yes sadu ya japa obi na monitor wa unime ndi ase omamba pa ade na enye na ya to agu no wo be sesa ekofo akoton ma ni pare sa mami ya chew wo no ende wo ngo furu ne ton engo furu no na wo ton ama ni pare na eya ngo mutugu madam eya ngo mutugu ah nese wo num say ade no atogo atogo ai farm hono ana wo be se akoko akoton ma ni pare madam unni ni panwadempa aboa na ewu wo farm hono ni akoto agu no wa be fa ekofo ama ni pare akoton ma ni pare ye fro say abiba also yes sadu ya japa obi na monitor wa unime ndi ase omamba pa ade na enye na ya to agu no wo be sesa ekofo akoton ma ni pare sa mami ya chew wo no ende wo ngo furu ne ton engo furu no na wo ton ama ni pare na eya ngo mutugu madam eya ngo mutugu ah nese wo num say ade no atogo atogo ai farm hono ana wo be se akoko akoton ma ni pare madam unni ni panwadempa aboa na ewu wo farm hono ni akoto agu no wa be fa ekofo ama ni pare akoton ma ni pare ye fro say abiba also yes sadu ya japa obi na monitor wa unime ndi ase omamba pa ade na enye na ya to agu no wo be sesa ekofo akoton ma ni
pork, then you have other people who, like you, love it. But unfortunately, we are picking up information that says that for a few weeks now, we've had the outbreak of swine flu, or what some people call the African Swine Fever. We have the expert with us in the studios, and he's going to break it down for us to understand and appreciate what we have on our hands. Now, my concern has to do with one thing that I have picked up as well, that people, or some farmers, knowing the pigs have the infection, are selling them. So they slaughter the meat or the pig, prepare it nicely, and they sell it. I don't know how that's going to affect us as human beings, but that's something that we'll be, talking to you about. Because as it's Friday, most of us will be going out there to buy stuff for the home. And for those of you who want to buy pork, we'll be telling you a few things that you need to be mindful of and watch out for. But I want you to be with us. Join us on Facebook right now. LUV 99.5 FM on Facebook. Join us there right now and see for yourself how wicked or how callous some people are. They know that there are dangers, there are wrongs in what they are doing, yet they are doing it. Join us on Facebook right now and see things for yourself. And also drop comments or ask questions. We're live on LUV 99.5 FM. Go there right now. Take your time and watch the video. Listen to the audio, the conversation that would ensue between, the people whom you're going to see in the video, and then drop comments. Let's hear from you. But I have with me Dr. Patrick Amponsa. He's a veterinary doctor. He's right here with us in the studios of Love 99.5. Doc, good morning to you.
Good morning, David.
And trust you're well.
I am.
Well, do you...
Aboa na ewu wo farm ho no ne akoto agu no. Wa ho no en dey. Ho ngugo furu ne ton. Engugo furu no. Na ho ton. Amani pawe. Na eya ngomutugu. Madam. Eya ngomutugu. Ah? Ne se wo num se ade ne nya no atogu. Atogu o. I farm honomo, and now what is a walk of Tom and Barry? Madam, only the Pamwadimpa. A buana who of farm harmony to a gun. What the fa echo, how many parry? I could Tom and parry. Your brother say, Abiba. Also, yes, we as I do have a bobina monitor only me. I say, Omamba pa adina enye na yato agu no wo besesa ekoho akoton mani pare sa mami achew
affecting pigs, because then if you look at the name, it's African swine. So it is affecting the swine population. When you say swine, the pig populations. Yes, both in the wild and then those domesticated. Yes.
For those of you who don't even know how the swine fever looks like, we're showing you some images of it. So you can join us again on Facebook and you get to see how a pig that has that infection, the swine fever, looks like and all. But again, we'll be showing you videos of some behavior, some wickedness on the part of some Ghanaians, knowing very well that an animal is not too well, so therefore the meat is not wholesome. They still make advances, they make moves to sell, to sell it to people. We'll be telling you much more. When you join us on Facebook, you'll be seeing things for yourself as well. But how did they get into our region? How did they get into the country? Do we know?
African swine fever for the past few months has been recorded in Greater Accra region, and then in about some few months ago, we also recorded it in the Bono East region. Yeah, so we are now having it in Ashanti.
We're now having it here in the Ashanti. It's now here. Yes. But do we know how it came in? I'm asking this question because some people are purporting that somebody brought a foreign pig into the country, and they asked some people to go help them, slaughter it and stuff like that, and that's how come we have it in our country. Have you picked such information? How true is it?
Okay, I can't speak to the index case. So when you talk about the index case, then we are talking about the first case that led to this particular outbreak. I can't speak to the index case. Yes. Okay,
you can speak to that again, but let me dwell on that a while longer. I'm told that with this African swine fever, human beings, let me put it this way, human beings are the carriers. So therefore, if we come into contact with the virus, then we spread it to pigs. Is that what it is?
Yeah, so then we are zooming into transmission of the disease.
Yeah.
Yes. So the disease in the excretions of the animal, saliva, and then the urine, the blood, and then all those things. So handling an infected animal or an affected animal and then later going to handle an uninfected animal will lead to the transmission. Taking feed from an infected place or an uninfected place can lead to that. Taking farm equipment from an infected place to another uninfected place will lead to it. So there are lots of mechanical vectors that are involved in this. So if you go to an infected place and then you later go to an uninfected place, or you handle an infected animal and later handle an uninfected animal, then you are transmitting the virus.
For how long does the human being carry this? I mean, if we are the carriers and we, spread based on the surfaces and things we touch, for how long do we carry this with us?
This very virus is very strong, so it is very it's able to withstand some level of heat, it's able to withstand some level of acid, so it can stay in the environment for some time.
But we don't know exactly how long.
Oh yeah, it can stay with you for for months. It can be with you for months.
So what happens to the pigs when they get the infection? What happens to them?
Okay, so we are now talking about clinical signs. Oh, okay. So basically, African swine fever. So there is fever. So there's increase in temperature. There is the animal is dull, is lying down. Normally, typically, you are going to see some redness on the skin of the animal. So even if you don't know anything, at least you may see some redness on the skin, and then maybe on the extremities, maybe around the ears, you may see some we call it cyanosis, bluish coloration around the ears. The animal is not eating. Yeah, so we have different presentation. You may have the per-acute case, the acute, the subacute, and then the chronic. So in the per-acute, if you have the per-acute case, all of a sudden you are going to see sudden death. Sudden death. You go there and then these animals are dead. And then in the acute case, then you are probably going to see some level of clinical signs, but then they die shortly. And then in the subacute, it's more lengthened, and then in the chronic is more so that is more like it. So you are seeing the skin lesions, you are seeing the increase in temperature, you are seeing the bluishness around the ears, you are seeing these animals are dull, these animals are not eating, these animals are, and then about 24 to 48 hours before they die, they are not even able to move. In pregnant animals, they are aborting. Yeah.
I see. So are they able to be treated and to survive this if they get infection?
Viral infections generally, we don't even attempt trying to do. It's like saying you are treating COVID. COVID is a viral infection. HIV too is a viral infection. So normally you don't treat these kind of things. So and there are no vaccines too available. So what you do is you prevent the entry of the disease into your farm.
And how is that done?
So just like we had the discussion on the avian influenza, it's all about
that's the bird flu.
That is the bird flu. It's all about biosecurity. Like the last time, as I explained, biosecurity is making sure you don't bring the disease into your farm. And then when the disease comes to your farm, making sure the disease may not spread to other animals. And then the third arm of this one is making sure the disease does not move from your farm to another farmer. So there are a number of things that you put in place. We call it traffic control. Don't let anybody come into your farm. Your farm is not an exhibition center that people are coming to look at your animals. Don't let anybody set boundaries.
Okay, so hold on for me, sir. You talk about the set boundaries. So the picture I just saw, are they? Would you say they are infected? Joel and Co. Can we go back? Can we go back? We're still live on Facebook, and as we just saw some pics with some red coloration on them. I just want to know whether that's the sign of the virus we're talking about. So this is it. Yeah. So for those of you listeners out there, maybe you don't want to go buy a whole pork, pig itself. Can we pause it on Facebook for people to watch for me, Joel and Co. Yes. Go back one more step. So you can see how, an infected pig looks like when we're talking about the African swine fever. So please go back for me one more time. Yeah, so pause it here. So this is a typical, what do you call it? Infected pig.
Yeah.
So when you go out there, listeners, this is how it looks like. So don't buy it. All right. If you are going to buy a whole pig, then this is how it looks like. Don't buy it. Unfortunately, we'll be telling you, because some people have, already dressed these animals and they're selling. We'll tell you what you look out for as well. But this is how the infected one looks like. So, Doc, back to what you were talking about as to the traffic, ensuring that, and I like the way you put it. Your farm is not an exhibition center where people come to and fro and all that. Mm-hmm. So you try to control.
Yes.
Yeah.
You try to control people from coming into your farm. And then if it is very necessary for the person to come to your farm, make sure the person is being disinfected properly. Like in Corona, we use these sanitizers to wash our hands. When you go into our farm, these farmers are supposed to have foot baths where anybody entering can step into it, so that even if you are carrying any of the viruses under the soles of your feet, these viruses can be destroyed.
But you said it is strong. Even heat and acid cannot.
Yes, so we have specific disinfectants for those. Okay. Yes. So you get the foot bath, you put the disinfectant in. Anybody who steps in and then carrying the virus would be destroyed.
Okay.
Yes.
Having said that, how true is it that we've lost about 3,000, or is it more than 3,000 pigs so far?
So the challenge we are having is, we confirmed the first case at Ejoso.
Okay.
And then it involved about 400 pigs.
Wow. One farm?
For one farm.
Whoa.
For one farm. And then it so happened that other farmers are not reporting for confirmation. I don't know whether they now know that, okay, this is African Swine Fever, so we are not reporting or whatever it is. But then the animals are dying, so we may not be able to know exactly the number of affected animals as it stands now, because some farmers have not reported to their district veterinary officers or to the regional veterinary officers. So I don't know how you got these figures, but maybe it could be true. It could be under-reporting, it could be an over-reporting. Yes.
Okay. Now, having said this, apart from Ejoso, is that what you said? Do we have it, in other places? Because somebody also mentioned Ejura to me last night. True?
I work in the lab. We confirm these cases. We've heard that pigs are dying in Ejura, but I have, as I speak to you now, I have not received a sample from Ejura for confirmation.
But you've heard. So what steps are you taking to verify, whether it is or it is not true?
So we have the district officers there. They have been tasked to look for these farms. Like I said, some of these farmers, when they see that the animals are dying, we may try to evade the veterinary services and other things. So we've tasked the district officers to fish out these farmers, get us those samples, and then we...
But if you say they're evading the veterinary officers and all that, we are at risk, and of course other farms could be at risk. So what's the plan?
The danger here is not even about the humans. The danger here is the other farmers. The other farmers, because if a poultry farmer is not reporting the case to the veterinary office or the district officer, that means that they have plan of selling the animals. If they have plan of selling the animals, that means that they are going to move these animals out of their farm. In the process of moving these animals out of their farm, they are putting all the other farmers on the routes to danger. Yes. And then the slaughter facilities that may decide to maybe even slaughter these animals, and then all those things is sad.
What should a farmer do if a farmer realizes that, listen, this is what my pig might be suffering from? What should a farmer do if an unfortunate situation occurs where a pig should should die? What should a farmer do?
In these instances, just report to the veterinary service.
Even when that animal is dead, you can't bury it yourself, or what you can't attend to it?
Don't bury it yourself. There are standard operating procedures that we follow to bury these animals. So you just can't go and then throw these animals or dig any shallow pit and then put these animals there. Dogs might go and dig them up, try to eat them, go and put the bones somewhere behind somebody's farm, and then the virus may go there. That is why I'm saying that we have standard operating procedures. We have standard pits that we will dig. We have standard disinfectant that we will use to disinfect the farm, and then all those. And so it's really technical in disposing these dead animals off. So whenever your animals are, you see that they are sick in these particular instances, just let the vets be aware. Let us confirm if it is ASF. We will follow the standard operating procedures and do what is necessary for the farm.
Well, we're having a conversation about, the the African Swine Fever that has hit us here in the Ashanti Region, and it's a source of worry. We're told that one farmer lost about 400 pigs. One farmer. And if you know how much one pig goes for, then you know how much the person, this farmer, might have lost. But the other concern, aside from the fact that it might be spreading onto other farms, the other concern we have, and we'll be talking about that shortly, has to do with the fact that unfortunately some unscrupulous farmers and some unscrupulous people, knowing that the animal is not well. I mean, and if those of you who are watching us on Facebook, you see, some pictures of the pig that are not well, because a while ago, Dr. Patrick, Ponsa described to us how, a pig, with this African swine fever looks like. So stay with us on Facebook. And again, Joel and Co, Kate and Co, please show me that video, because I need to go to that area now. Show me that video of a woman who knowingly, knowing that a bed, died of what do you call it, bird flu, was herself ready to go and sell it out. I mean, show that video as well. And this tells you the kind of people we have amongst us. It is live on Facebook, LUV 99.5 FM. Join us there. But listen, if you have questions for Doctor here, feel free. And when we activate the phone lines, you can ask your questions. Aside from that, what do you make of some Ghanaians, people who know that Abuane Yari, Abuane Wu, and yet they will dress these birds or these animals, dress them well, and sell them to people who are not, in the known as to what the animal even died of, and the state of the animal and all that. But let's talk about control. Would you say that currently, Dr. Patrick Amponsa, do we have it under control, or is still, getting growing, increasing?
The control measures lies squarely at the feet of both the veterinary service and then the farmer. We are not on the farm. If you are a farmer and then you have a case and you don't tell us, controlling it will be difficult. So, but then immediately they tell us, we will go in, and then, because the earlier we come to your farm, we depopulate, we disinfect.
Madam, a young go to you. There's a woman said in any what to go, but at to go. I found one. I know what is a walk of Tom in the barrier. Madam, only the Pamwadimpa. A buana who of farm harmony I could to a goon. What the fuck? Echo, how many parry? I could Tom many parry. Your brother, Abiba. Also, yes, we as I do have a bobina monitor only me. The I say, oh, my papa, I didn't any at Wogun. What better?
What have you done by way of ensuring that farmers are aware that we have the ASF with us, and that these are the things that they ought to be doing? How much information have you disseminated out there?
So a lot of information has gone out there. We've liaised with there. So the epicenter is at Ejoso.
Yeah.
So we know that the district officer there is creating awareness about the disease. And some interviews also have been granted earlier. And then this one too is happening. So all these are trying to create awareness to our farmers. Yes.
I hear you. Well, if you've been spending, hours praying for showers of blessings, listen, I've got some great news for you, because your miracle could be right around the corner. You know why? Airtel Tigo is making it shower huge cash prize. It's data and call minutes in the Airtel Tigo Tugo Misu promo. From now to December, people all over Ghana will be winning, awesome prizes every hour, every day, every week, and every month with a grand cash prize of 100,000 Ghana cedis available to be won. All you have to do is to simply dial star 500 hash, recharge 5 Ghana cedis or more, and build up points from the Airtel Tigo Money and ATM transactions, which of course gives you double points. Recharges, bundle purchases, SMS trivia, and general usage. Now, you can also purchase points on star 500 hash via the Airtel Tigo Money and ATM to boost your points. You can get even more points from the daily SMS trivia for 30 Ghana pesos or from simply buying extra points for more chances to win big. So don't miss out. Please simply dial star
African Swine Fever for 7 years.
I farm honeymoon, and I want to one day. Oh, go for the tongue and go full no. No whole tongue. I'm many pirate. A young go to you, Madam. A young go to you. Ah? The woman said, and you know what to go. But I told you, I farm honeymoon, and I want to say, I go walk on many barrier. Madam, only the Pama Jimpa. A buana who farm how many I could to go. What the fat echo, how many pirate? I could tell many pirate. Your brother say, Abiba. Also, yes, we as I said, you had a bobina monitor only me. The assay, or man papa, I didn't any at Wogun. What better, sir, echo, I could tell many pirate. Sir, Mammy, I show. Oh, one day. Oh, go for the tongue and go full no. No whole tongue. How many pirate? A young go to you, Madam. A young go to you. Ah? The woman said, and you know what to go. But I told you, I farm honeymoon, and I want to say, I could walk on many barrier. Madam, only the Pama Jimpa. A buana who farm how many I could to go. What the fat echo, how many pirate? I could tell many pirate. Your brother say, Abiba. Also, yes, we as I said, you had a bobina monitor only me. The assay, or man papa, I didn't any at Wogun. What better, sir, echo, I could tell many pirate. Sir, Mammy, I show. Oh, one day. Oh, go for the tongue and go full no. No whole tongue. How many pirate? A young go to you, Madam. A young go to you. Ah? The woman said, and you know what to go. But I told you, I farm honeymoon, and I want to say, I could walk on many barrier. Madam, only the Pama Jimpa. A buana who farm how many I could to go. What the fat echo, how many pirate? I could tell many pirate. Your brother say, Abiba. Also, yes, we as I said, you had a bobina monitor only me. The
that indeed there are some people who are selling these pigs, knowing very well that they have this infection, the ASF, and are still selling it. Can you confirm that to us?
Just as with the avian influenza, these are typical human behaviors. These are our typical behavior as, I don't know whether as human beings or as Ghanaians. So that is how I'll put it. Yeah.
Is that a yes or a no?
People try to make the most out of whatever is happening. So the animals are dying, and then these are huge sums of money that are going down the drain. So So he looks at maybe some of them are already dead, and then some of them are very sick.
And how
then
big
how big they even are, and then they try to do something. So these are just typical normal human behaviors that we are encouraging them not to do. We are encouraging them not to do that, because that is what is making the disease spread more and more. But then before we move to the next thing, there are some instances with this particular outbreak that your animals may die, but then you may not see the typical lesions that I mentioned. You may not see the redness, but then you may see them, all of them down, and then they are dying. Yes. So it's not every day that when we say you are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you are going to see all those things. Sometimes you may show 1 and 2, you may not show all 3 of them. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for adding that to the information for us. Let's talk about people who might unfortunately come across people who may be selling some of these, infected animal. I mean, the pork meat. Is that something, like you mentioned a while ago, that for the live ones, you can see the redness and the blue thing around the ear area and all that. For those unscrupulous people who would want to sell to unsuspecting customers, are there things that we can see with the meat that can tell us that, listen, this might have a problem? Is there anything that we need to be looking out for?
So once they have slaughtered the animal, they have dressed the animal, there's nothing much you can do as a customer or as a consumer. But then, like I'm saying, this is an African swine fever. It affects swine. It affects pigs. Maybe one day we may wake up and then it has mutated and it's affecting humans. Very possible. But then for now, it's an African swine fever. So the major emphasis is the other pig farmers. The other pig farmers. But the FDA, Food and Drugs Authority, will tell you that an animal that is sick, an animal that is dead, is not wholesome for consumption. So if the animal died and then you are trying to sell it, it's not wholesome for consumption. And then you are breaking the laws of Ghana. And then you can be arrested for that. So that is the message that I want to put across. Once an animal is dead, once an animal is sick, and then it didn't die through natural means, it is unwholesome for consumption.
But even if it dies through natural means, should you still prepare it for consumption?
Natural means could be slaughter. Like, you decided to slaughter it yourself. Yeah.
Okay, I hear you.
So if it died through sickness and all those things, you are not supposed to sell it to humans.
Unfortunately, some people do it. Unfortunately. So, next question: does the way we cook it, does it help in any way?
It does a lot for us. It does a lot for us. Like I was saying, the virus wouldn't survive. So the virus is able to survive between maybe about 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. So if you are cooking your meat 100 degrees, especially when we are frying and then we are going even beyond maybe 100 degrees, you will have denatured the virus. You would have denatured the virus.
Well, listeners, join us now on 03-220-83596. Is there any question that you would want, the doctor to address for you? Again, what do you make of the typical Ghanaians, some Ghanaians who, knowing very well that the animal is sick or the animal died of, some disease, will so slaughter it and dress it up and sell it out to people? We've been told that that's what is happening. So Kate and Co, let's pick phone calls now. 03-220-83596. Join us on the phone lines. 03-220. Pius, let's do this very quickly. 03-220-83596. All right. So join us and tell us, what you make of the attitude of some Ghanaians. Abwane yari, abwane wu. Then still, na ya tonsa ma phone we. Sledge, good morning.
Hello, Dave.
Yes, let's hear you. Talk to us.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sledge.
Yes, I wanted to ask some questions. I want to find out if somebody is a carrier of the flu, how does the person detect it? And also, I want to find out if they do monitoring, because, like periodically, if they go to the farms, pig farms to check whether the animals are free from any flu or viruses or anything. And also, when they get to the market, do they also go to where they sell them to even check whether those infected pigs are already in the market? Thank you.
Well, a couple of questions for you, Doc. Who's next on the line? Hassan, good morning.
Good morning, Dave. How are you?
I am well, Hassan. Good to have you, sir. Your question or your contribution, sir?
My contribution. Good morning to the doctor over there. I work at Kumasi Abattoir. And like we always said, we have about 6 or 7 doctors, veterinary doctors at Abattoir. So we always encourage people to come over there and purchase their meat because they will go through everything. And the meat you're buying from Abattoir is one of the cleanest and the best. Thank you very much.
So you just came in to advertise for your outfit, huh? Thanks, Hassan, for calling us. 03220-8359 says we're having a conversation about the ASF, that is the African Swine Fever, that has hit the Ashanti region. Please be mindful as you go out there to buy meat, especially pork meat. Be mindful. Kedia, good morning.
Dave.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, I'm aware. Hello, Dave.
Yes, Kukudia, we're listening.
Doctor Oche.
Oteha.
Doctor.
Hello.
Now, doctor, yes, bro. And I'm not afraid of you.
Should I answer this one?
Say we hear no dada, and I'm what?
Sir.
We hear no dada.
Doctor, anything, I think what you're doing. What chef purpose, Mananini, what's the continuation? Waboka.
Dave.
Yes, sir.
And your system, the bedding. Dave.
You put a smile, a worrying smile on the face of doctor here. Ajeku Madams is also on the line. Good morning, Ajeku Madams.
Morning.
Welcome, sir.
United States of Prop always add that one.
I hear you, but sometimes you go to different places, so let's hear you.
Today I'm at Kopo.
So how would you know? So you tell me. Thanks for joining us.
But I could just didn't joke with the life of people. You still laugh over it. Huh? As for you are not serious about issues. Now my practical question is, if the doctor can give us a line, a port line, so that if we put anybody selling such animals, he can report to them. Now you speak on air and you, if there is a case somewhere at the, how can we reach you?
Go to the police station. Say you suspect that there's somebody who has.
Hello.
Yes, police station.
Police station.
Yes, if you know that the person is maybe trying to sell the animal that is dead, you have some information, you can report to them. But if you have realized that maybe there's that infection on the farm, or you suspect and you want the veterinary people to come, every district has an office. Go to the veterinary offices there, and then in the district office there and talk to them.
Where is their office?
It depends on where you are. We can't tell.
I'm at school for they should
okay.
All the district assemblies have.
Hello.
Okay, he says all the district assemblies. He says all the district assemblies have it. So go to your district.
In an emergency situation like this, they don't have any hotline. This is an emergency situation.
I'll find out from him for you. I'll find out from him for you. Bye-bye. Frank is also on the line. Good morning, Frank. Hello, Frank.
Yeah, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, boss. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Okay, so my question to the officer is, now that they know that there's an outbreak in Ashanti Region, what surveillance measures have they put in place to ensure the farms that the pig farms that we have don't have the outbreak in there? Because I think they know the farms already, that these are pig farms within each of the districts within Ashanti Region. What are the officers doing? Are they going around and searching for these symptoms, or they are waiting for the farmers to come and report when they know that farmers will not report because their investment is going down the drain?
I hear you.
What are the officers doing? That's my question.
That's Frank there, and he touched on it earlier when I asked that question. He says the district officers are on the ground, but he would expatiate on it further. 03220-8359 says we're talking about the African Swine Fever that has, hit pigs in the Ashanti region. 3,000 or so pigs we're told have died. And unfortunately, some unscrupulous people are also selling the meat for people to eat. Be mindful of where you buy your meat. Johnny, good morning.
Good morning, David.
Welcome, sir.
Yes. The gentleman who just spoke, he said how could he have raised his farm, his pork, pig, and go and throw it away because there's swine fever. Such people, I think we should have something to tell them. We shouldn't just leave him go. Does he know how much a human being will cost? That he thinks that because of his pig and his selfish interest, he go and sell on wholesome. Such people are people we should be looking for. we should have something to tell him. We are not joking here. Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. Johnny there. 03220-83596. Sadat, Alhaji Sadat, good morning.
Good morning, Dave.
Welcome, sir.
Dave.
Yes, sir.
Dave, don't chat to me.
Otianomo.
Doctor Mpacho. Also, one. A day or more, Jania Muji. The Trinity doctors. Government in Chuamaka, and I'm one, and Mutua, Chuamaka. Omunisa, the Pacro, Abuaba, would be 30 cities a day. What will have an arm and then now to office. Munya, Munya, Mose, friend, so flew Abagana. And I will be more. So better so to Atinica.
When said Tiamra, what sounds a bonenso?
One in, I don't just need to wear a day. About one is Ghana.
Well, let's move on and speak to Bernard here, who is also on the line. Bernard, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
And welcome.
Yes, thank you. So I was just wondering, seeing that the government knows that this is happening and it has been going on for a while now, haven't they put together a compensation package for the farmers so that their losses will be a bit offset?
I know that a similar thing happened during the bird flu time. Some farms were supported out. As doctor of it, but I know that something like that was done for some of the people who lost their birds during the bird flu. Thanks, Bernard, for calling us. Still on the phone line, we're picking a few more calls. 03220-83596. George, good morning.
Good morning, Dave. How are you?
I'm well, George. Let's hear you.
Thank you, David. You see, people have the mentality that if you boil the meat, the virus, will be dead. You see, so they find it difficult to throw this meat away. Having the mentality that if the meat keep long on the fire, that means the hot water will kill all the virus, so it is wholesome for them to, consume. And also, what will government help them? Because one person losing 400 pigs is not easy. So government must also come in to help the farmers. Thank you, David.
And thank you, George, for calling. Enjoy your weekend. Nana Kweku.
Hello.
Nana Kweku, good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome.
In football. Well, about this African swine flu, there's some practice that, the veterinarian guided did not say something. Now, there's this thing that they've been doing where some farmers decide that, look, let's say I have 10 pigs which are more females, so I need a male to cross. Goes to a different farm, pick a male, bring it over to his or her farm, and then crosses it. And then at the same time, after that, take the pigs back. All people who are rearing pigs should know that this is also one of the costs.
But Anakwego, he talked about the traffic control. He meant once there's a traffic control, he says you the human being, don't move to somebody else's farm. And even when you're going to buy feed or medicine, don't do some of these things. So it's all captured in the traffic control.
Very good. We said traffic control. You made mention of human beings, but we rear pigs, some of us decide to go to other people's farm to do that. So hammering on it will drum into the ears of people. That's what I want to say.
I hear you, Nana. I will reply your message, don't worry. Abdullah Sumaila, good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. What I'm saying is that if they want to control this, or if they want people to stop selling that affected animals, the government should come out and put measures. Maybe if your farm is affected with the disease, we'll come and help you with some amount of maybe money.
Compensation. You're talking about compensation, yeah?
Yes. So that if people are compensated, they will not bother themselves selling those affected pigs to people. Because they sell them because, see, taking care of pigs is not an easy thing. For the person to take care of those things, for maybe about 5 dying, then you just go and throw them away. I mean, the farm will collapse. You see, and this time, this is what people do to take care of their families and other things. So the government should come out and at least compensate them. If they do that, then that one, they'll be able to minimize it. Otherwise, with our mentality, why, but that's it.
Stephen, Stephen, good morning.
Morning, my brother. How are you?
Stephen Wonder, well. Let's hear you.
It's true. My name is Stephen Wonder, calling you from Achumakwa, Oma District. Greetings to your listeners and lawyer Evans Amankwa. Hey, I Samu. David, only say me and Pex farmer.
No, sir, I didn't know.
Me a Pex farmer. And then they need to program. Hey.
And yes, sir, so we've told you what to do to control traffic. So if you don't have the place, your farm infected yet, you know what to do now to protect yourself. Okay, so now you have information.
Okay. Yeah, one fan and number to just see a cry. Yeah, casting no, and I'm meeting more common on my friend veterinary doctors. Say, be a man whom be a symptom and I be this ano. Say no much quite about first near your prevention. But what the son say, I know there is no prevention to it. I'm say what say no. And I'm a boy. Say what I say, I know the woman who the control. And I just
and I can say the traffic. There's no vaccine, but there's traffic control that will prevent your farm from the infection. But there's no vaccine that will prevent, the virus.
Okay. And I'm and was I can say the this about Momayan to Abuana na me mayan indi namno.
On cancer, okay, let's do this. I mean, to wrap up, we'll touch on a few of the salient points that Doctor mentioned. Thank you very much, Stephen Wonder, for calling. Sam, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm well, Sam. Good to have you. Let's hear you, sir.
Right. A caller called, and I was asking the work of the veterinary workers. You see, what I took from his submission was these veterinary doctors should be visiting the farms, to at least guide the farmers on how to protect their animals. Because if the veterinary officers should be frequenting their farm, I think it will help. The advice that they give to their farmers, it will help, in managing their farms than to wait for this swine flu, to attack them. Then they will be moving out of it to go and destroy them. For Christ's sake, they invest a lot into it. If it's a money from office, that farm man gets a form in form of my name, it's not safe.
All right. So again, I asked that question earlier, and I'd ask him to, repeat the answer. Let's pick one more call, and then we'll wrap up on the phone lines. Is it Kwabna J. Dia? Good morning, Kwabna.
Dave.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I am well, Kwabna.
Dave. Edio. Nyapa yeah. And so any part of Pena. Dave. We have more way for Uko.
Kwabna, Mr. Sabuan, no baby.
And yes, I'll to Bude.
Dabby, I'm going to be so awesome. Oh, Sabuan or Yarin and Fancy, Yarin Kuno. Say, yes, I Nam said, Gina, we are Kwabna, baby.
Hey, now someone needs your idea, they are on yet.
Dabby, Mr. Baby.
And that's I do. Baby, I'm going to say, Minim, Mamma, only Mamma, neutral school. Neutral school, opposite. We only have got on Mamma, what tell you.
So I asked a few questions earlier, in our conversation, Dr. Patrick, and I don't know whether the people didn't get the answers well enough. So we talked about, monitoring. We talked about how much information you're giving to the farmers out there. Just retrace again the answers you gave.
Okay, so we are talking about traffic control. Let me touch on the traffic. The traffic control is making sure any person, an animal, or any farm tool or whatever that is not supposed to enter your farm shouldn't enter. Like I said, your farm is not an exhibition center. People shouldn't just troop into your farm just like that. That is the first thing. like the other caller also said about the traffic control, you don't go and then bring somebody's animal. Like, so somebody may hear that, somebody is having African swine fever, they are selling their animals cheap. And then you want to go and cash in, then you also go and buy some. You know that this person is having a problem, then you go to their farm and then those are all parts of the traffic control. Don't go and borrow your other farmer's shovel to come and mix your feed. They are all parts of the traffic control. Don't let anything cross the barrier into your farm. Just enclose yourself within your farm.
Okay, and again,
nothing goes in, nothing comes out.
And then you talked about the fact that you have your men also on the ground. I asked an earlier question. You said you have your veterinary officers on the ground that are going to farms and engaging with them. Please repeat what you said.
So this is where I will. The veterinary officers are on ground. Yes. Woefully inadequate. Yes, they are woefully inadequate. So maybe this is the point that we implore the government to employ more veterinary doctors into the system to do this particular work that we are talking about. But then again, we are looking at traffic control. So if the veterinary officer has been to an infected farm that particular day, then under no circumstance should that veterinary officer go to another person's. Other than that, the veterinary officer will he himself be transmitting the disease to an unsuspected farmer. To an unsuspected farmer. So the traffic control does not only stay with the pig farmer, it also with the veterinary officer. No matter how well they adorn themselves with personal protective equipment and all those things, they are supposed to also be careful where they go.
But I'm sure that these pig farmers would have an association, and members will be on a platform like a WhatsApp platform.
Exactly.
So you can use the leadership.
They are using it.
You're using it.
They are using it. The veterinary officers in those districts are using it. They are communicating with them. They are communicating with them. And even as last week, one veterinary officer who was there and then he's no longer there was calling. Yes, so there's a lot of communication, there's a lot of education that are going on there. But then in this outbreak, the veterinary officer can't be moving from affected farm to affected farm to affected farm and then move to an uninfected farm. That is very, very dangerous.
And that's why I said let's use the WhatsApp, and I'm happy that you're saying that the app is being made use of. Let's talk about the cooking. You touched on it before we activated the phone lines. And Doctor himself said, and we all know, that the FDA says any animal that dies of any disease is unwholesome. So it will be criminal on your part, knowing very well that the animal died of some disease, and then you say, okay, I'm going to prepare this animal, I'm going to sell it to people. Yes, you might have invested so much, but it doesn't mean that because you are going to lose money, prepare the meat and go sell it. It's against the law. People were also talking about the cooking of it. And doctors talking about the fact that if you're cooking, you're boiling, you're you're frying to a certain temperature, it is okay. It doesn't still make it right.
David, that is where I want to even come in. You're having 400 pigs. First and foremost, we are saying traffic control. Don't let the animals move out, the affected animals move out of your farm.
Yeah.
So if you are going to cook it, are you sure you and your household are going to be able to eat 400 pigs? You can't. Even though you may be able to cook it and then whatever, immediately you move it out of your farm, you are infecting other pig farmers. So it's not practicable. Even though you may have denatured the virus, you put everybody at risk. You put people's investment at risk. So just be a very good citizen. It's very difficult, but be a good citizen, be a brother's keeper, and then allow the veterinary people to come and depopulate the animals. Because if you are trying to recoup some investment, you are also going to destroy other pig farmers.
It brings into the conversation the issue of compensation. And I know that some farms who were hit by the bird flu, some of them had some bit of compensation. What is a normal thing that happens when farms are hit this hard? Does government often intervene, support?
And you're talking about the bird flu.
So even in this situation, does government help?
So let me bring it from the bird flu issue. So recently we heard that the minister assuring poultry farmers of a compensation, and then there was some cabinet approval. We don't know how far that has gone. African swine fever has now started. We are still collating data and other things. compensation lies solely at the feet of the government. The government decides whether they want to do compensation or not. Me, as a civil servant sitting here, can't tell the farmer that there is going to be compensation. I can't speak to that.
But from past experiences, previous experience,
there are instances where the government gave compensation, but I can't speak to the fact that this particular outbreak government.
So what you can do is you document it, you take videos, you take pictures of what you're going through, just in case government intends to support in any way. You have some evidence of what
And the more they report to us, the more we confirm, we get the data, then we can support our arguments with those ones and then tell the politicians.
This is from Kingsley Chigozi. He says, good morning. I would suggest the authorities close all pig farms for now and carry out test or check on all farms. And Malachi Akaribo is surprised this thing is happening. And Chris Naji Terra says, then the Agro Minister and veterinary experts should start tracking and destroying these animals. If not, they will be slaughtered and hauled for Xmas sales. And most people will be affected during this Xmas celebrations, because this Xmas there is going to be more pork consumption.
Well, I hear you. Well, at this point in time, I'd like to say a big thank you to you, Dr. Patrick Aponsa, for joining us and for sharing this information with us. Somebody was also asking, is there any line, any number? He was referring to a hotline.
It is not actually a hotline, but then it's the Regional Veterinary Laboratories line. So if you are having I'm coming.
You have any suspicion? So whilst he looks for the number.
So it's 0322 496660.
So take it again and take it slow for me, please.
0322 496660.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Patrick Aponsa, for your time with us this morning. I know the sacrifice and I appreciate it. I salute you. Japan Motors has great news for you this month of November. Get your Nissan vehicles inspected by their certified technicians for free. Nissan, after sales, is offering you